Alrighty, this game pits me against the Grandmaster on Hoyle Majestic Chess. Excitingly, I was able to win a 6 minute time frame here. Game starts out pretty standard, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on these moves. My main goal here is simply, to develop pieces and try to get something in place, and obviously not have a position that they can quickly exploit. It's no fun getting tore up in this game. So, okay, gonna try to develop pieces. Here's an interesting thing. When black decides to castle there, that pretty much cements my strategy. And that's basically I want to attack the black king position by any means necessary to win. Uh, you know, and that means, develop more pieces. Get these pieces developed. Look for possibly lines I can exploit, or just bring more pressure than they can stop. And in order to execute this strategy, I'm going to have to figure out a way to trade pieces of value for position. Because when I play against somebody this tough, they're not going to give you anything. You got to figure out and take calculated risk. So, okay, I've developed another piece there. The bishop e2. H6 is a tricky one here. What I want to do is I want to put my pawn through that H file, which we'll discuss later. Because I want to keep that H file, the file H, open. So, and I also want to develop pieces. So obviously, I'm going to capture with the knight. Knight takes G5 there. Okay, computer's developing. I decided to push the pawn forward. Again, the H file concept. Black plays the bishop to H6. Oh, good. I can just put a pawn in F4 that really develops and opens up for me, and I can put extra pawn pressure. Black's going to trade that black bishop for the knight because my knight's in a better spot. And I'll simply replace that with a pawn there, fxg5. Okay, in this situation, remember the concept. I want to develop pieces, I want to trade pieces of value for a position, and I like to keep the H file open. So I'm going to be trading this good bishop for a bad knight here. Bishop x h5. Okay, black developing the knight, developing my queen a little more. Okay, king moves, king d2. And then I get the rook forward, which is good because now I can open up a spot. I get checked there, I move over one. And remember the core concept is that I basically want to attack the black king position by any means necessary, any piece necessary to win, and possibly bring these other two pieces into the fold here. Okay, black plays queen to d6, and I respond by capturing d5 with the knight. They play bishop d7. I get my rook in position, and they get their rook in position. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I am going to try to block or take away the defensive capabilities here. I'm going to play knight to f6, which doesn't look great, but it threatens a potential. It puts some pressure on potential checkmate for black. They play ef6, and I simply respond with gf6 check. And then black puts the queen in position right there to block the check. This is where it gets really tricky. Black simply wants me to trade queen for queen and take advantage of its material advantage and just whittle my position down. Should I take that trade, I lose. I don't want to lose. I want to win. So I've got to figure out a way to take care of this. If you look more closely, you'll notice the queen only has one defender, the king on g7. The question is, can we figure out a way to remove it? And I don't like playing rook takes h8, but I'm going to play rook h7 check. So I play it there. Computer captures rook xh7, and I respond with rook xh7 check. At this point, black decides to get rid of the rook, which removes the defender on the queen and allows me to capture queen x f6. Big capture for me. Now, the rest of the game is basically a game of queen check forks and utilizing pawns to figure out a way to whittle down black's defenders and get the W. So we play forward here. Another move. Okay, I've got the bishop hanged in. They put me in check. Finally, I got rid of one of the bishops. Okay, now I put pressure on the knight. Here I've got queen x f7 check. And they block the way I don't want them to block. Alright, now I got to figure out a way to get a check fork. Well, there's a check there. Queen c2 check. And we're just basically moving pieces across the board, seeing if I can eventually trap them and find something. Now, I am trying to move the pawn down the e file. And this really works for me here because I got the king to defend. And, oh, I just got a fork. Not a check fork, but I got a fork between the rook and the knight. Computer decides they want to keep the rook. I take the knight and put him in check. And now it's just a matter of trying to, whittle down the position and not do anything stupid where they get, a draw. Yeah, just basically keep working down the position. Okay. Got a pawn. Gonna trade pawns there. And now it's just a matter of, cornering the king. And we keep moving. Eventually, this game is going to be in 71 moves. So just one move after another, and okay, now we've got it down to mate and a couple. And there we have it. Game over. Yeah, I was really excited about this. Yeah. I would just say, the key concepts I discussed earlier, I'm not going to hammer on them right now. But yeah, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'm signing out.